On that note,
I suppose you have more experience with ships than I do.
On that note, looking at them, you two.
We are trying to save the world here, and we would very much appreciate if you two would try to do the same.
Yeah, exactly. If you could
now
help.
You know sort of the things and choices we have to deal with on a daily basis. Perhaps compromises will have to be made. So please.
Yeah. Ace sort of raises a hand and mimics a talking mouth in the exact motions as Gavir says, "I will not accept a permanent solution to a temporary problem."
When your father becomes a roaring death god of eternal damnation and suffering,
happy to have your sister's aid in these matters, I'm sure.
If that does indeed happen, then the rulership of Grand Castle will be the least of our concerns, I would assume.
Exactly. So figure it out.
So
please.
fucking handle that. Good.
Sighs a bit.
Lord. Henrikin mutters to himself and shifts back and forth. You will figure it out, I am sure. The need is to
figure this out, then this is all lost. So, whoever of you, I would like you to stop playing chicken with the fate of the world, please. Act like the adults you're supposed to be. I know you're both very passionate in your ways, but, well, you'll have to put that passion to making sure that there is a throne.
nods.
This is not a temporary problem. This enemy is one that had existed for a very long time. Their plans have stretched out for hundreds of years to prepare this. And, well, we have no guarantee that this won't just starve them off for now, only for them to return later.
Yes, this is not a temporary problem. This is the problem. The problem to end all problems. Now, we must leave Amberspire.
Yes, our business here is included.
If you could provide us with the letter of introduction as well, Gavir, that would be appreciated. We will send a request to talk with the Cloud Dragon leader as soon as we leave here.
I can write something up, certainly.
Thank you.
Good. Time is of the essence.
Yes. Our ship
they're
sails
so
in
busy.
Sheep?
They say reach Morrowind. Sure, let you go.
Yes, TDS?
Is there what icon would be like the most associated with the Cloud Dragons?
Well, the thing about the Cloud Dragons is that they are sort of very, very separate. Okay. The leader of the Cloud Dragons is almost an icon by himself, except that he really isn't because he doesn't partake in the politics at all. The Cloud Dragons, they are basically just an organization that cares about their own thing and really doesn't do much else. The entire reason the Cloud Dragon network exists is simply so they are not entirely ignorant.
Okay. I was just considering because I do have that leftover 6, which I'm trying to consider. What's it leftover 5? Oh, 6.
The closest. No, I couldn't pinpoint a single icon that the Cloud Dragons would answer to. They are definitely their own thing.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious. I was just trying to consider if there's some way I could have used the Cloud Dragon using my Architect 6 to possibly try and influence some kind of better outcome using it. But if he's not connected to anything, then limited.
Well, your Architect 6 could very well be Gavir's letter of introduction. Making more official in terms of relationship dice.
And have a bit more of an effect. Sure, I think that's acceptable.
He will put his official stamp on it. Which he, of course, brought.
Yeah,
he obviously.
Smack.
I'm willing to do that. And maybe somehow Talia's name, maybe it's slightly more recognised and holds a bit more when it's attached to the letter.
Talia whips out all of her titles, which is like, Defender of the Flame.
I mean, we'll all sign it,
Keeper
right?
of the Secret of Honor.
Because we did befriend that one Cloud Dragon.
It's true.
Way back, and he flew back there when he was kicked out of the city, presumably. So maybe people are like, oh, I know them. They're great people.
They were ever so delightful.
But I'm up for spending my 6 to try and empower the situation.
Yeah. You can consider that done.
Come to get to Ember Spire and tells everything he knows, and then we'll need to go there and destroy the source, and then we'll go and learn about portals and create the dread and bring the souls back from the dead and whatnot. You know that'll be
it'd be great.
that's
Basically, in the letter,
then we'll take him and invade the fucking Fae.
Then we basically in the letter we request an audience. We say that we are aware of their attempts to go into the mist. We are aware of what lurks in the mist, and we wish his help to find it and stop it. Dire ramifications will happen if this is not made. Doom and gloom. Please come post haste to Ember Spire or send a messenger where we can meet you for a meeting as soon as possible. Yours sincerely, the Sterling Compact.
And we're gonna see like a scene of him in his throne room, like getting the letter, looking at it, like they know too much.
He's just gonna
Tell
go,
the
who the fuck is
master
this Sterling Compact?
immediately.
Yeah, he sneers like.
And then he like puts his hand, like goes into the light and like rots. You know.
Oh, death is whimsical today.
Madness is
A
perfection.
fell wind blows.
Also,
Madness can be
when you wanted
told.
titles.
Unleash the winds of madness! And they were like, my lord, it is too dangerous.
Well,
Fool.
We shall fly higher than ever before.
off to Ember Spire, yeah?
And then his...
Yes, go to Ember Spire. Let's acquire some of these explosives. They're gonna be useful. Every problem you have, almost everyone can be like, well, just blow it up.
Explosives solve a lot of problems.
Yeah. Since we're gonna have to start waiting for a response anyway before we can do anything for the meeting.
Huh?
Go to Ember Spire first. Hope people get some kind of response, or maybe if we're lucky he shows up.
If you had it 2 days ago, it does say that the merchant bought us time. Presumably that means we still have some time. Like otherwise it's probably like you are out of time or something like presumably this person here wants us to act on the vision. So
Intervention is immediately required.
yeah, like flee from the land, death is upon you. Could be another thing.
You must head to the mist at once.
Yeah. Let us go to Ember Spire. Let us hurry. Make haste.
Yeah, I still don't want to take too long though. This is a worrying situation.
We need to carry a big
Alright.
stick.
Ember Spire, you say?
We also kind of want to stop other people from holding big sticks.
Yeah, we're gonna wreck
Well.
that whoever the spy person is who's blowing up the thing, and then be like, so, put him to the question, Reds. I'm sure you know how.
The way to Ember Spire is rather similar to the way towards Crimson Peak. There are certainly beard trails, but the trails are very, very hard to see if you don't know where exactly you're going. And without the guidance of Beecher or any other caravans, as there are currently, none going at the same time as you are, as they do tend to bunch up before actually heading down there due to dangers, mostly dangers really. Making it rather difficult to descend the mountain. Of course, you are resourceful, and descending a mountain, while it will take time, it's not too difficult.
We
Especially
pay
since
a
you run up
guy,
and fly. You could perhaps purchase a guide.
hire a guy to get us faster because we don't have time to wait to find our way.
A guide would, however, end up being rather expensive, as the Red Rift Canyon is dangerous, and people want to get appropriate amounts of payment for that.
Well, I do have an Elf King 5 that might be useful here, since this is kind of the way to respite. Perhaps there's like an elf mercenary who generally works here as a guide for elven folk to take them from basically the lands of Coppergate and Grandcastle to like respite, currently resting in Crimson Peak, who travels this way with royalty and that sort of people, agents and such who don't know the way, and perhaps with grand reputation for helping the elves and being an ally of them, he could invite him to show us the way, please, because we're in a bit of a
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good use. The caravan route is definitely mostly used by, well, the outsiders and the elves. Pretty much those two exclusively, as
Move
well
my fife
as
and hire the mercenary to come help us.
it is, of course, also used by merchants wanting to turn risk into profit.
Yeah, he's a diehard. He was in the Dragon Wars or something like that at some point, and has like a big scar on his face, and he's a really ugly elf, which makes it really hard for him at home. People give him a hard time for it, but here he's still prettier than most people, and you know, an elven badass basically, forged in
And
flame.
elves.
Yeah, he knows these places. He eats like scorpions and stuff.
Yeah, he can help you, first of all, with your preparations, as he will tell you that the Red Rift Canyon is a brutal place. It is hot and there's no water to be found anywhere, unless you know certain tricks, which he does. So, getting a few barrels, perhaps, considering Hirando will be along.
Put them on him. Yeah. Everyone carries their own water. It's fine.
I'm sure he'll be very happy to carry extra water, being a Tananim that
Cool him
could
down.
literally eat ice just to stay hydrated. So
Being that he also is the one who's going to be drinking.
Yeah.
And
Drinking
Rickon
a
doesn't
lot.
drink.
Neither does Graham.
It's
well,
such a
Talia
good,
will be drinking.
it's so
Yeah,
good to
Talia.
be undead.
You would never know. Yeah.
Yeah,
We can
he-
probably carry. Graham can probably carry like Talia's water if need be, because she probably doesn't require as much as the big dragon we have with us. So.
Here-
And besides, the guide knows ways to get it. So.
Hirando will be more than happy to carry his own water.
Cut back to the throne room. The guide has joined them, my lord. Excellent.
Wait, how are you getting these messages so fast?
So, descending the mountain with the guide this time, who can lead you to all the hidden paths that look like they are just mountain, but have indeed been rather smartly crafted to just look like the mountain, but are in fact smooth roads almost, making the descent rather easy. And after a good 3 days, perhaps going down the winding roads, you can reach the edge of the Red Rift Canyon, which is quite the sight as the sun is at its apex. Perhaps I've made a image available for you. If you were American, I'd say imagine the Grand Canyon, and then imagine the Grand Canyon's greater brother. Because this is pretty much what you see. It is, if it weren't for the canyons, one enormous flat plain. Except, of course, they are the canyons, who, unlike in the Grand Canyon, the bottoms don't carry water. The bottoms don't even exist. People at this point have... One second.
This is the Great
We're
Grand Canyon.
basically in Arizona.
Oh no, not Arizona.
Everybody run!
Alright, apologies. People have basically universally accepted that these canyons don't have a bottom, and all those who have tried to disprove that fact haven't returned.
Yeah, don't fly over those.
Like, good news, I have never fall down. Bad news, I don't have a way back up.
The heat here, even at this time of the year, just close to the year's end, is absolutely scorching. At noon, your guide will tell you it would be a very, very bad idea to travel at all. There are many tunnels and sort of pathways inside the canyons offering some shade, as well as, of course, bridges and just ways to cross the canyons for the caravans that he can show you. But in general, travel should be done at night. The visibility will be lower, but so will the temperatures.
You know, considering we have an ice dragon with us, that might be a good idea.
This is the sort of area where Hirando would probably feel absolutely miserable to the point where flying would be foolish. And even the members who might be more resistant to the elements would definitely feel the effects significantly.
No, we're no more resistant to heat than anyone else is.
Yeah, unfortunately, my cloak I have keeps me warm and dry. It doesn't keep me cool.
Well, at least
Without
the
water,
sweat won't be bothering you.
like we don't get thirsty. We just dry up and dry out.
I like how I have a
Oh,
magical cloak.
You get all desiccated.
now I've got the image of like pruny Anrikin and Graham. They've
It's more
dried
like
up
the skin
like a
grows all
raisin.
tight, you know.
Do I have? Do I?
Yeah, you're
do I have more?
emaciated.
I need more disguise spells so I can cover this up.
You know, like a mummy looks. He has a dried skin.
See, I have water breathing, but can I just create water? Can I just pour water?
Yeah, vegetation and really anything you could hunt is scarce. But with some tricks, they can be found. Some water can be squeezed from plants that almost look like rocks, so easy to miss. Some animals do like to hide in the various caves down here, which are sort of dangerous to traverse as they sometimes just open up into a canyon. But your guide certainly pays for himself after a short while.
Sounds like it.
Emberspire itself is visible from quite the distance away. The landscape of the Red Rift Canyon is really just that, red and rifts and canyons. Emberspire, however, is absolutely black, perhaps with a slight red tint if the sunlight hits it right, and rather high, a few hundred meters. It looks like some enormous deity had built a sand castle, pretty much by taking globs of obsidian and just piling them on top of each other. There's no real architecture, it's just the material just piled in layers on top of each other. Yeah. Wow, words. A big black pillar in the red landscape.
To get an idea of it, is it more pyramid or obelisk?
Obelisk, definitely.
All right.
Your guide can also tell you that Emberspire, while it is sort of hollow, that's not where the actual village of Emberspire is. The village of Emberspire is all the way around the obelisk. And as you can imagine, it has just the same problems that you're currently having. Food is scarce, water is scarce. The city sort of sustains itself through the use of enormous tanks for water and enormous just grain storages. And of course, some attempts at proper agriculture and keeping animals. But life is rough in there, and you shouldn't expect, well, to find many great wares or anything if you wanted to buy things. Emberspire, the village just exists because the obelisk is there, the Emberspire itself. Which, he can also tell you, has no real use. It is definitely the tomb of the first enemy, but other than acting as a sort of holy site, it's just sort of there, and he doesn't quite get the appeal. But he can tell you that many of the Reds do travel there rather regularly. What they do there exactly he has never really cared about. He just knows that they go there, probably to pray or whatever. Travel is slow. The way as it is marked on the map, certainly not as straight and narrow as it might suggest, but winding, often going perpendicular to the way that you would assume you have to go, as that's just how the landscape forces it to be. But after a good extra week and a half of travel, you can arrive in the village of Emberspire, situated on a cliffside. Most of the buildings sort of spread around, even some on the other side of the canyon there. Multiple bridges spanning over. But dominating the entire thing, of course, the Emberspire. the guide. This is where the guide will say that, well, nice knowing you. I shall travel east. And so he hopes that you remembered all his tricks on your way back.
Well, we'll certainly do our best. Yeah. We're an Emberspire. So, who's an authority here?
That's sort of hard to tell from just walking into the village. It is definitely a small village. There are maybe like 100 people living here at best.
The environment, can you blame them?
Although it does seem like the Ember Spire isn't just the spire, but has been turned into some sort of an establishment. There does seem to be a building right outside its entrance, question mark. A hut, almost.
I suppose it would be as simple as going to someone and saying basically, if I murdered you, who would your family go tell about it? I need to speak to that person.
Maybe let's not.
Maybe that shouldn't
like
be
that.
what we say.
Can you give me a
take me to the leader
charisma
would
skill
work
check?
better.
Oh god.
I can do that.
Why?
Well, I'm Thane of Vorgil, the god of strength and leadership. I have a domineering personality, and I can generally get what I want from people. And I also have my charisma, and I had my incremental advance in skills, so I actually get to use that. Should make it a +7. Oh, that's pretty shit.
Right. You know, the young man you've been talking to, who has been basically just who froze after you said that, just bolts basically.
Ah.
The other people maybe also sort of. The other people that you can see around maybe also sort of disappearing into houses.
Could just go knock a door down, but maybe you guys want to try.
Yes.
Young child, if I were to summon the dark powers,
Stop it.
who would you?
Stop it.
Yeah.
But
No.
Usually works though.
Advocate shrugs. I don't see the problem.
As Talia will try to find someone who is not completely gone yet and try to calm them down.
I am very dry.
I apologize. I apologize for their. Yes. But we do mean no harm. Could you please just inform us of who around here we need to speak to for rather urgent matters? Please.
Someone has murdered me, and I need to report it.
Can you stop it? Shh. Talia just gives you a glare.
Why doesn't Talia give me a charisma skill check?
Talia will certainly try. Well, Talia has never been to Emberspire before or Crimson Peak. Talia has grown up in city environments having to deal with people, and sometimes people who are very frightened or otherwise very distressed. Though admittedly, normally she's not with the people who cause the distress. But as a child of the temple, she did grow up having to deal with people who were emotionally distraught, people who were suffering, or people who were afraid of what might happen, and needing comforting and needing support. And often we also needed to get information for them. The guards would sometimes need to work out what happened from distressed families, and we would try to help.
Okay.
Can I use that background?
Yeah.
Okay. Charisma is not my best stat, but, you know. That's, well, apparently they're too frightened, possibly.
Yeah, Talia tries to chase someone to reassure them that she means well, but that doesn't have the intended effect.
Stand aside, people.
I need to speak to your leader.
I am Anrikin the Traveller, known as the Soul Forger, wielder of the Scythe of Erasmus, and I require to
Maybe
speak with your
that's how we do
leaders.
it, man. You can make shit grow, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, could you just like
Yeah,
grow
you
an
could
awesome
make
tree
this-
here? Like something
Yeah.
like rock, friggin' grain, whatnot. That seems to that might get their attention.
Although, wouldn't that need a ritual?
That would need a ritual and a significant amount of external power from somewhere, because Enrican's own fortitude wouldn't be enough for that. This
Yeah.
I
area
know
is
a young man
fucking
knows about
dry.
shit. So
Hirandor,
Trying to grow something here would be difficult, but of course
Dragon-
for the
dragon
scythe,
blood?
not entirely impossible.
sacrifice.
nothing is impossible for the Scythe.
The scythe of Enrikin.
Yes. No, he will basically say what I said. And
Okay.
request that to speak to leader. Leader.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Do I have a background for this? Probably not.
What does kill anyone? So just tell us.
I mean, he's a traveler of many roads. He's been to places. He has talked to people. Maybe I can get half of that for this.
I would give you the entire thing. I think that's very fitting.
Okay.
You've traveled many roads, even these smaller ones, and sometimes there's a village where they don't really like outsiders.
That's
But
right.
Enrican, he knows these people.
Yeah, just a little bit. I know them a little bit.
Oh,
I have a 1, a 4, and a 7.
No, maybe we should go join the outside and kill them all.
Well, maybe Enrican finds like an older woman,
Yes.
like a very old woman who
She
hasn't really
thinks
noticed any of the uproar here because she's sort of deaf.
I have lived in the sun-bleached lands
And-
for 100 years.
She probably misheard what Enrican really said, but she can probably tell him that if he wants something, well then, just knock on that door over there.
All right.
She points at a random building.
There's Anakin will lock
want
eyes with
cats?
Graham.
All right,
And
well,
she just
Sam,
screams.
We'll go and open.
She just
Go
screams
open-
randomly.
like, open the
Raisins!
door.
And then falls off the chair. Like, well,
You know, we can just go open the door then.
Right. You find yet another of the terrified townsfolk just hiding. But after some interrogation, you can finally find out that if you want to talk about any official matters, then you should go to the caretaker of the Ember Spire itself, which would be a dwarf called Dolph, who lives in a house that is just right next to the spire. Can't
Alright.
be missed.
Take me to Dolph.
immediately.
He will show you the vague direction, but he won't lead you there. He
I'll
doesn't
give
want
you
to
a
leave
piece
his
of gold
house.
to lead me there.
Yes.
All right, then he will.
A shiny gold coin.
Like
is in
that's
it for you.
that's a few days of salary, I think. So, yes, take the gold piece, and you'll bring me to Dolph.
Right. The young man does take the gold reluctantly, but happily.
Reluctantly.
Loyalty is apparently easier to buy.
Well, Graham seems important, as it turns out. He seems very important.
Yes.
I don't know if he's
Especially with a
important
gold coin.
I have a ring that says I'm very important, very authoritative, for whatever reason.
Okay, he's imperatively scary.
Yes, as he will lead you to the house. The house itself doesn't look much different from the others. They are sort of cobbled together from a strange kind of black wood, although most of them are just made out of rock that appears to have been made into bricks by just chiseling the rock into brick form. But this house slightly bigger, perhaps slightly more luxurious from the outside. As knocking at the door, after a short moment, a dwarf sort of stumbles out. He is dressed in reasonably fine clothing, even some adorned with gems, mostly rubies, as well as some other gold rings and such. So he stumbles out. Yes. Oh,
Official
be?
business. We will need to speak alone with you.
certainly. As he sort of eyes Hirando, frowns. Do come inside and try not
Miranda
to
is the one you have to worry about.
try not to break the door, please.
Sure. Grumble not. That seems to be a reasonable thing to ask him. At this point.
But
Oh, he does
foolish.
frown slightly at the dwarf adorned with jewels. That usually is a bad
Mhm.
sign.
He seems like a buffoon.
Yeah.
Armlings of
Talia
gold.
is-
That's the way to
Talia
go.
was just glad in her mind that she can, in 1 to 6 rounds, do like 6 hours of repair work on the door if Hinderdurndor does break it.
Just put your head through the door here and door.
Yes.
You know, he's a careful dragon, all right.
Shade. Yes.
He will take
He's sort of
utmost
like all
care.
the water is out of him as well.
He cares about
Now
people's
breathes
belongings.
dry ice instead.
Oof.
Well, I suppose we go in and find a private place for us and Dolph.
The house is basically a one-room house. There aren't really
Oh, Hirando will
Any-
just stick his head through then.
any places that would be more or less private. It is reasonably equipped with reasonable furniture. Not as luxurious as his clothing might suggest, but certainly fine things. See, sort of leads you to one of the tables, gives you each one of the hardwood chairs. Says, what official business are we talking about here? Are you,
I raise an
I mean-
eyebrow and says, well, there isn't really many kinds, us there. An adventuring party came through here about a week ago or so. Wasn't that? No, a little longer? Like a month?
a little longer, yeah?
All right, a month ago or so. They came in and did some investigating and then left. We need to know what they were investigating and what they found.
Frowns a bit. And with who are you exactly?
Bykar.
Raises an eyebrow. I suppose he is one of the family, but it does not sound like him to care for
I
these matters.
suppose we could say that you questioned his direct orders to us. I'm sure he would take that out very easily.
Well, he is one of the ones who rarely come here, so your threat really isn't working as well as you thought it might be.
Oh, you misunderstand. I don't think that was a threat.
Regardless,
We can resort to
regardless.
that if you really want to, I suppose. But
Rather be
Let me-
civil, but I suppose a show of strength could be demonstrated.
Oh,
I'm sort of
please,
sizes up the guy. He thinks he can take him.
I've had to deal with so many of those.
Good. Then let's skip that whole thing and just assume we have done it.
Yes, that sounds reasonable enough. Listen, I've taken care of the whole. The inside of the Ember Spire is as pristine as always, and the bones of the first enemy are safe. There's nothing to be investigated. The hole patched.
That's not
Can't
good
even
enough.
see a spot.
We need to investigate it. Who made the hole? Have they been apprehended?
I don't know. I've just been, though that party you mentioned, it came here, went in, dug around presumably, and then was satisfied and left. I figured the matter would be over with that.
What was in the hole?
Oh, a tunnel, I assume. Some sort of crack caused by an earthquake or something.
Is it
These
still
things happen.
there? You've patched it up, you say? Filled it entirely?
Not the entire thing. It's deep, but it does not. It has not damaged the structure. I think.
Just no.
It'll-
But we have information that would suggest that some form of explosive clay has been placed under it that would then be brought to bear, bringing down the entire structure and the city with it. Sort of frowns. Says we must have access to these tunnels so we can ensure that that is not the case. I hope you understand that this is a bit of an issue, and that perhaps this should be kept between us for now.
I mean, you'd have to break open the floor again.
I trust that you will do
Hirando
so with
snorts.
the utmost speed.
All right. I suppose, but well, usually I'd like to verify that you are indeed with who you think you are, but
Has American
Yeah,
gotten like
skipped that
a
whole.
has anyone gotten like a seal or anything from Bykar? Because Bykar did send us here, I believe.
Beecher didn't. No.
That was the other one. But we probably
But
have
he
a
did.
seal
No,
from
he
her
did.
anyway.
He said like, "Oh, you can you go to Spy and check something out for me?"
You didn't notice that. We never talked to him more about that.
I'm pretty sure he said.
Might have mentioned it, but he didn't
He's
explicitly
like a
send
friend
you
who
again.
needs help anyway. Anyway, we probably have one of his things, right?
Probably. He probably gave it to you, so
I reckon
You get
that's some
the-
sort of get out of trouble for free card.
basically, yeah. Show this to people if they bother
He's
you.
mine. Yeah, don't mess with him because belongs to Bykar.
Yeah, that does seem to satisfy Dolph as a nods, sort of defeatedly. Says, "All right, come on, but you do sort of have to hurry. You can't take months down there.
Oh no, we are rather in a hurry.
As soon as you're out of there again, the sooner I can fix the hole again, because, well, I've someone fairly big coming soon who would like to use the place."
Oh,
Well, to understand that, you have to know the spire's purpose, which I assume you do, correct?
assume we know nothing and tell us what you know.
Right. So the family, the offspring of the original enemy, they sort of used the place to commune with him. They locked themselves in there, and oh boy, does it get hot in there! Hot to the point where even they sort of start to hallucinate, I guess. He shrugs. I get paid to keep it well and clean, so.
Who is coming there? And
Well,
do you know why?
Well, the current enemy.
That's why they want to blow it up. They want to bury the new enemy with the old enemy.
I know, but you don't tell this guy that.
No, but I'm just saying that's.
He comes here every year, same time.
Mhm.
And
Oh,
you know nothing new.
Sorry, what did he say?
And you know nothing else? Anything new about this? Anything that's different this year?
No, it's same as usual, apart from the, well, slight problem with the floor cracking and all.
Well, then, has any outsiders shown up and stayed for an interesting amount of time?
He sort of scratches his head.
This
Oh,
town's
well,
not that
some
big.
of the caravans tend to just stay here for a little bit, sure. Some of them oogle the spire a bit, but other than that,
Have any stayed for about a month at this point?
no.
Right. Troubling. Well, I suppose we should go take a look. How long was it until this meeting? This big dragon thing?
He'll show up here in about a month, it should be. Sometimes he comes a day early, sometimes late.
All right. Well, let's go take a look.
Mhm.
We just fixed.
He nods and leads you towards the structure. The actual door to the spire is not on ground level, but rather there's a sort of basement below it, where there's a staircase down and then a set of doors. And the set of doors is quite something. Not because it's like luxurious or pretty, but because it's absolutely massive. Not in size, but depth too. It is a stone slab multiple meters thick, set on, well, hinges really. And behind that, you can see multiple sets of iron bars. The ones closest to the actual interior of the tower are dented, to say the least, by massive impacts. They have been repaired over time, but most of those damages, they won't ever really disappear completely.
So they fight in here.
The interior of the tower, I can pretty much show you, but it's rather simple. There are no lights, no windows, no furniture.
Well, now there's light.
Light coming from the outside, yeah. But
And
pretty
stars
much,
glowing.
it is just a polished obsidian floor with some of the edges even extending past into the rock of the sort of basement, and above, of course, a polished obsidian ceiling. To get a sense of the scale, there's a battle map down here, for no particular reason. So, drag it down here. So the dwarf leads you inside the, even with Talia's light, pretty dark area. So he points into it. Oh, there you go. It's quite pretty, but and the hole was over here. But as you can see, it's as good as new.
Yes, please reopen it.
I'll that might take me a while, but I can try.
I don't suppose I have an acorn or anything. I could fix it.
I mean, if you wish to open the hole, then feel free. But if I did it, I'd have to get some people together. It'd take me a day or two.
How long do we think it would take Hirandor to break it?
Smash through this.
Yeah, smash through it.
Well, inspecting the floor, it doesn't seem too difficult. One really good hit should shatter the thin layer of floor.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we turn to Hirandor and give him like a nod. You know, sort of an impress us. Show us that you're not completely emaciated here.
All right. How about this, Sheep? Could I even make the obsidian a bit more brittle with my ice breath?
Sure.
So just sheeting it in ice before slamming down into it.
Well, let's put it this way. Hirandor could try, but the interior of this place is an oven. Even with the doors open, it is to the point where if you just had a cup of water, it would probably start boiling.
Oh God! So thermally known, super cooling this
That
thing,
would just
and then letting it
crack it.
super hot. Wouldn't it just splinter and explode?
Yeah.
If Hirandor's cold breath even managed to reach the floor before just being evaporated.
I don't like this place. That's
Well,
very
Yeah. Okay.
He can try. Well, he can either try to break it, or we try magicking it open.
I mean, just punch it. Like you're a big
I'll
dragon. You're
try.
strong. You can fucking smack your face in there and break it open.
Yeah. I'm thinking like, what did you want? Like an attack roll? Because then I could just use like my power attack on it.
No, give me a strength skill check.
Strength skill check. Christ. All right.
It's like a wilder background sort of situation.
Yeah, I'm
Broken
trying to
stuff
think.
The water before.
They smack shit. You know.
Yeah. I'm
Ew.
thinking.
I'm going to need more of a reason than Wilder smack shit.